You are welcome back to this wonderful segment. I want to remind you of the topic we are discussing today, bringing Christ to the workplace. It's kind of marketplace evangelism. So we are going to look at this topic, and I want to bring a man who is doing that now, who is extending himself. He has a profession, he has a business, but he's taking time out to do something, not only for Christ, but also for people. And that is the Get Involved challenge we're going to do. And I'm glad to talk about this with Mr. Reed Warner. Reed, you are welcome.
Thank you.
And again, I want to thank you for creating time to come. I know how busy people are these days, especially you that have a business.
Yes, thank you.
They say that business, time is money.
That's right.
Thank you there. Now, I would like you to just take your time and introduce yourself to the audience.
Well, very good. Thank you so much for inviting me to come, as well as my friend Paul Jew here. We're part of a group called Fellowship of Companies for Christ International, as you mentioned in the first segment.
Mm-hmm.
I belonged to this group for about 10 years. I've been a believer for about 40 years.
Whoa.
I came to Christ through the ministry of Campus Crusade. Didn't really know what God wanted to do with me. And I was just cleaning office buildings, emptying trash cans, cleaning toilets.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Lord, please don't make me a janitor the rest of my
life. I love that.
And here I am 40 years later, and yet he's given me a greater purpose to live for than cleaning toilets. That's very important.
Amen.
To clean office buildings around our wonderful city here in Albuquerque and in Rio Rancho. A job well done is universally appreciated.
Of course, yes.
And that's certainly the case with cleaning. And so we want to bring a sense of value to what we're doing with the people that come to work for us.
Wow.
A lot of times people come to work for us that feel like they really have to earn extra money,
mm-hmm.
but they have to humble themselves and clean buildings, and yet we want to give a meaning to them. And also, we say you can get physically fit because you're moving so quick.
Of course, you are walking.
But we also try to help
is
them.
living.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And we also tell them that they can become more financially fit. And so with that, God has taught me through this organization of Fellowship of Companies for Christ International that I've been bought with a price. Yes. So God owns my business. So it's not all about me, it's all about those people that we serve.
Out there. Now, let me just ask you what you do. Tell us a little bit about the activities of FCCI, especially as regards to the overall mission of this wonderful.
Very good,
yes.
Very good. The mission of Fellowship of Companies for Christ International
mm-hmm.
is to transform the world, one business leader at a time. And if there's 900 million businesses around the world,
mm-hmm.
that's a very large opportunity for people to make an impact. And we have people within our organizations. We have monthly meetings. We call them Council of Business Advisor meetings. Uh-huh. We also have what we call business leadership groups, where not only in Albuquerque, but
mm-hmm.
in India, in South Africa, in
all over the place.
North Europe, Northern Europe, Southern America, all over Central America, all over the world. People are meeting this.
I must confess to you, I never heard about this organization. I'm much more familiar with Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship, and I've been in their programs once, a couple of times, and it's like it's similar kind of.
Well, they're very evangelistic, and in fact, about 42 years ago, my father came to Christ through that business setting at a luncheon, Full Gospel business meeting. Wow. And then more recently, my 70-year-old brother came to Christ in a business setting as well. So business people do have an opportunity to whatever you do for the Lord, as it says in Colossians, mm-hmm. Do it as unto the Lord. And so FCCI is teaching me as a business owner, I'm bought with a price, so God not only owns me, He owns my business, and to use it. And we have around our table, maybe you'd like to hear how many some of the folks around our table. Mm-hmm. On Wednesdays once a week, We have one fellow that helps people that come out of prison. Nobody will hire these people.
I know.
They're felons. They've been convicted of all kinds of crimes. They're not qualified to work in many businesses because of their record. And yet he hires them to make business-to-business phone calls all over the country. And they have a number of people down there. And they've got a wonderful ministry in those people's lives.
And that's the point. Because the reason why you are here is to challenge people. To get involved in, in people's lives. There are, look at what you're saying about those that came out from prison. I have an inkling of this because my ministry takes me to the homeless ministry, and I see even veterans, people that have given their life to this country, and they have nothing, and most of the times they can't just fit into the workplace.
Right.
So can you just
they've been
take this time to just invite people?
Yes, and so many of us are
challenge them to.
Yes, so many of us are broken in so many people, in so many ways. And Jesus called us as business people to be involved in their lives on a very small basis, and yet it's a very large basis. My friend Paul is doing this, and our company's doing the same. We pray for each one of our employees. We pray for our vendors. We pray for our customers, and we pray for our city to be transformed, to be like Christ. That's one way. We have people in our own business. In my business, on Saturday mornings, he goes down to the park, and once a month he preaches Christ down near this location. And a lot of these homeless people hear this. So whatever you're doing, the first thing to do is, God, what do you want me to do with what you've given me?
Thank you, Reed. Let me, viewers, if you are watching this, what we're discussing now is about impacting others. You can do the same. You can impact people wherever you are, whatever you do. People are hurting out there. People are looking for something, which some of them can't even identify what they are looking for. You can be a hand to somebody. You can be a sight to somebody who couldn't find his way. And I just want to thank you. We're coming back. Please don't go away. We're coming right back.